Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're doing another R&R video reviewing and rating all the different games I've been playing the past 2 weeks with friends, family, and even solo. Now this week I've got 7 different games that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to try and go through them relatively quickly or as fast as I can with still explaining how the game sort of works, then giving a little bit of a review and finally my rating of that game and maybe some reasons for that. But let's just jump right into it with our first game of this week, which is a game that came out a few years ago, and I just recently purchased it, and I got to play it a few times in the past few weeks. So our first game is Gizmos. Gizmos is this marble-centric game where you are going to have this track of marbles that has so many of these marbles revealed, and then there's a bunch in the box. Whenever you take a marble, new ones come down the line and refill that. There's also a bunch of this pyramid of cards, and you are going to basically, there's a few different actions, but the main actions are going to be taking marbles from the marble line or randomly from the marble box, and using those marbles to purchase these cards that are in this pyramid sort of tableau. You are then going to, if you buy that card, you're going to put that into your own personal tableau, and then those cards will give you points, but they'll also give you some kind of abilities. And this game is all about comboing. It's combo this, combo that, comboing. One of the most combo-tastic games I've ever seen. Now, this game plays in about 30 minutes. And like I said, it's all about comboing. Most of the cards have something to do with, if you take this color marble, then you get to do this action, and then that action might allow you to do this, and then that. And it's I think it's a Phil Walker Harding game. I didn't even look, but it just feels like one of those. I should probably look, but if not, I apologize. Now, this game is a fast one. It only takes 30 minutes. This is a fun one. It's going to get a 7 rating from me. The only issue I had with this game was that there's almost too many combos. By the end of the game, this engine building game, you're building that engine really fast. By that end of the game, you are comboing things so much that a lot of times you actually forget a lot of your combos. Like after you take your turn and then the other person goes and then it comes back to you and you're like, oh, I forgot to do this, And that seemed to happen quite a bit while I was playing this. I mean, that's my only complaint about it, but it's a fun, light, little engine building combo game. Yeah, 7 rating for Gizmos. Definitely check it out if you never checked that out yet. Going to the next game. Next game is one game that I never heard of before, but my friend got the game. This is Dead Sprint. Dead Sprint is a zombie-themed game while Griff is walking around here. Yeah, Dead Sprint is this zombie-themed game where you and some other people are playing competitively, but you are running down this hallway, running from this zombie horde, this big horde that is following you. You're going down this corridor, trying to find an exit or be the last character standing. So you're going to be going through this hallway, rolling the dice. That depends on how far you can move, and there are going to be zombies along the way that you're going to have to basically choose to either fight or try to sneak past. After every player has taken their turn, then you're going to roll the zombie horde dice. If the zombie horde ever catches you, you're dead. You are eliminated. You're also, if you're attacking zombies during your turn and you fail, then you get hit. If you have a first aid kit, you just lose that. If you don't have a first aid kit, you're dead. This is a nice little filler game. It's going to get a 6 rating from me, and that's mostly because the rule book was so bad. This is a very light game, very simple game. The rule book was only about a page or 2, but it still didn't clarify a bunch of different rules. And in fact, part of the rule book just cuts off mid-sentence, and it felt like an important sentence, but it just cut off, and we could not find where it resumed. It just cut off. So yeah, it's a fine little filler game. It's not one I'm going to suggest very often, or if ever, to want to play. But if someone asks me to play it, I will definitely, I'll go through it. It's fine. If you like zombie games, check that one out. Going to our third game, which is actually just an expansion. This is an expansion to the game Lockup. Lockup is one of my all-time favorite games. Lockup is a worker placement game that the main mechanic of Lockup is you have a bunch of different workers, and each worker has their own number on them. And then you're going to be placing these workers out onto these spots, and whoever's got the highest number of workers at the spot, the highest power, gets to take the best action at those spots. That's basically the main mechanic of it. I won't go too much into detail for that. But the expansion, Lockup Breakout, puts an extra board on the very bottom of the board, and you are going to be moving another piece along a track on that bottom. It's like a tunnel system. And the further along this tunnel system that you make this one piece, the more points you're going to get at the end of the game for that section. It also adds more goons that you can hire. It also adds more items that you can add. It adds a bunch of different end game stuff, cards, variabilities, different traits you can start the game with. And then there's also a legend. So at the end of each round, you have to save one of your workers. You can't put one of your workers out on the board, but you do get an extra worker in this expansion. So you're going to take the last worker that you have for that round, put it on the legend spot. At the end of the game, at the end of the round, you're going to reveal that worker. Whoever's got the highest worker on that legend spot then gets to take the legend action. And the legend actions are different every single round. You're going to reveal one at the beginning of each round, and so you can tell what you're fighting for in that spot. But the legend actions are very different. Some of them are very, very powerful. Some of them you don't care about at all. For that reason, this expansion is going to get a 6.5, which is kind of a lower rating for an expansion for myself, because I basically only get expansions for games that I like. I'm happy I got the expansion because it added more stuff that I like, more goons, more items, more traits, and things like that. As far as the expansion board and the legend part, which is supposed to be like the main part of it, I could really care less about that part. But I like the other stuff, and it's going to be an easy one to add, but a lot of my game group seem to not really care about the expansion part. But yeah, it's going to get a 6.5. Not great, not horrible, but yeah, just kind of whatever. Going to our next game. Our next game is a very strange game. This is Brian Boru, the High King of Ireland. Brian Boru, we'll call it. And this is a weird, quirky game because it combines a bunch of different mechanics that I've never seen put together. First of all, it is a drafting game each round. Then it is a trick-taking game, and you're doing those trick-taking sessions in order to have area control on this board. This is a very Euro-looking game. Now, like I said at the beginning of the round, you're going to be drafting the cards. Then you're going to be playing tricks. And the reason why you're playing tricks is to control each trick is going to, whoever wins that trick gets to take one of their chips and control that town. And you are trying to control the majority of towns in regions. If you have the most towns in a region, you're going to score points at the end of the game. And it's going to be one of the main ways you're going to score points in this game. But what's interesting about the trick-taking process of this is a player lays a card down. Nobody else has to follow suit. They don't have to play the same color like in a normal trick-taking game. But whoever plays the highest card of that color gets to win that trick, and that's how you'll control the town. But everybody else who plays a card, and if they lose, there is two options on the bottom of that card, and if you lose, you get to take one of those two options. Those two options are usually pretty good. Sometimes you actually want to lose these tricks, because losing the trick is going to get you more benefits. It's going to get you coins that move along. There's 3 different tracks, sort of, that you're going to be. There's Viking track, there's marriage track, and there's a church track, basically. Those are all going to benefit you, and I won't get into those. But it's good to have a bunch of different things, basically. And this is a very weird game. It's very, very strange. I like it a lot. It's going to get an 8 rating from me. But this is one I think you are either going to love this game or you're not going to like it at all. I can see a lot of people not liking this because it's very strange. It's very strange to explain it. Even when I was teaching the game, it was very weird to explain it, and everybody's like, okay, and then at the end of the game, we're like, okay, we get it, but it's kind of strange to get into, and I've really liked it. Yeah, it's going to get an 8 rating from me. Next, we're going to a little card game. I shouldn't even say card game, because it's not really a game. This is Ript Revenge, and this is a game that you play during a round of disc golf. If you don't know what disc golf is, it's basically golf with frisbees. And I bought this off Amazon. I saw it and I'm like, oh, cool, a disc golf card game. This isn't a disc golf card game. This is a game you play while you're playing an actual round of disc golf. And there's a deck of cards in here, and they're going to do different things. They're going to basically mess with your opponent. You're going to be able to play a card, and it's like your opponent has to throw this certain way, or you can move your opponent's disc over here, or do different weird things. I would have been very happy if it was a disc golf card game, and I can't blame it for not being, because I didn't read it. I was just like, oh, disc golf card game. I didn't read it close enough. But as far as would I ever actually play this? No, I just want to play disc golf if I'm playing disc golf. This is going to get a 2 rating. I went through all the cards and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this while I'm playing disc golf. I don't want people to mess with my shots while I'm playing disc golf. There would be never a reason why I want to play this game. Maybe some people are going to like it, but I'm not. It's getting a 2 rating. It's actually, I don't know what to do with this deck of cards now. Maybe I'll give it to someone, see if they want. Maybe some other people will like it. So let's go to our next game. Our next game is Land versus Sea. This is a game, and it got some hype coming out last year. This is a tile laying game where one player plays as land and the other player plays as sea. The tiles are made up of land and sea. And if you're playing as land, you are trying to form a complete land formation that's completely blocked off with water around it. And you're going to score points. 1 point for each tile that has land on it. The sea is trying to do that too, block off the sea with land and scoring points for however many tiles that sea goes through. There are also different abilities in the game. There are tiles that let you play again immediately. There are tiles that let you steal opponents' tiles. And then there's a more advanced version, which I would just play the advanced version if I was playing this game, where there are caravans, which will be routes, which will kind of be an area majority sort of thing, area control sort of thing at the end of the game. And there are also like these mountains and corals that will get you extra points along the way as well. This gets a lot of comparisons to Carcassonne for being like a tile laying game. This is going to get a 6.5 from me. The reason why it's not going higher, I know some people are going to like this. This is to me, it's a very mean take on tile laying games. It seems like a very mean version of Carcassonne. Carcassonne, where some people block you off or try to get into your formations of Carcassonne. That's what it feels like this whole game is, of people trying to make sure that you don't finish your stuff that you want to do. So yeah, and sorry, there's a train coming through. Of course, there's always a train when I'm trying to shoot. So yeah, Land vs. Sea, it's going to get a 6.5 rating for me. Going to our last game today, and this is the most hyped game that has come out probably in the last couple years now. This is Ark Nova. Like I said, very, very hyped game. One that I've been trying to get to play for probably 6 months or so. I ordered it a long time ago, and the order just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. I wasn't sure what was going on. Finally, I went to the Magic Meeple last week, and Michelle, who owns that, had it. So I was, oh yes, I get to play it finally, and I played it. And then when I came back, it was actually waiting for me at my house, so I got to play it again. And I played it multiplayer. I've played it solo now. Now in this game, it is this big giant game where you are building a zoo. Getting animals into your zoos, building enclosures. So the main mechanic of Ark Nova is this card action selection system, where you have 5 different actions that you're going to be taking each turn, and these action cards are along this little line. And whenever you use that particular action, depending on where it is in the line, that's how powerful that action card will be. When you use that action, it goes down to 1, and all the other cards slide down or slide up and become more powerful. Now, the cards that you can do, the actions that you can do are very simple. There is play an animal card, which you just buy an animal. There's building, which you can build an enclosure into your zoo area, which you can build wherever that action card is how big of an enclosure you can make. And the bigger animals need bigger enclosures, the smaller animals need smaller enclosures. Then there are sponsor action, which lets you play a sponsor card, which will give you some kind of special ongoing ability or maybe some end game points. There is associations, which you can do an action that's on this association track. And there's also the card action card, which lets you draw more cards. And you are going to be playing these cards, managing your money, building out your zoo, playing animals into your zoo, going along this track. And the track system is the same track system that Rajas of the Ganges uses. And if you don't know what that is, you have 2 scoring markers, one on one side of the game board and one on the other. And certain things will let you move along this track and certain things will let you move along this track. And they're going to be moving around. And whenever they collide, that's when the game is going to end, whenever your markers pass each other, or one player's markers pass each other. That's going to trigger the end game. So it uses the Rajas of the Ganges system. The card system, the tableau that you're building of these cards, is the same exact tableau system that Terraforming Mars uses. So if you like Terraforming Mars, that system is going to be very similar to you of getting these cards. There's tags on some cards, and some cards will need certain other tags. So it uses that same exact system. Now, I wasn't sure how I was going to like this game, because it's one of the most hyped games, and I was like, well, it's probably overhyped a little bit. For this one, it wasn't for me. I'm giving this one a 9 rating. I like this better than Terraforming Mars. My only issue with this game is the length of it. This is going to take 2 hours to play it, if you're playing multiplayer for sure. I can play a solo game of this in about an hour, hour and a half. Multiplayer is always going to take 2 hours. Plus, it's a pretty big setup. So just be aware of that. But yeah, it's a game that I really have liked a lot. I think it could use an expansion, kind of like Terraforming Mars had Prelude, which kind of made the system go a little bit faster, jump-started the game. I think Ark Nova could use a Prelude expansion, which will jump-start your engine, so to say. But yeah, that is everything for this week. I hope you did enjoy this, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.